I think they're defending the 5% mark because if it goes above 5%, the banks are bankrupt.
Yeah.
Because remember, as the interest rate goes up, the price goes down. So as the price goes down, the mark to market value of that collateral, because remember, the banks are not just holding this in one signal account and holding their swords and defending your money. They're rehypothecating this debt throughout the system in multiple ways. They're leveraging that position in multiple ways. And the value of that position goes down as the interest rate goes up. So the higher the interest rate goes, the more systemic risk there is. And that 5% level is that key critical level. If they don't defend that level on the 10-year, then everything will unwind. You won't just need a bank term funding program. You'll need a complete buyout program. So it's now back above the 4.33% critical level. 4.335 is the critical level for the 10-year treasury based on market structure. And now they're going to have to start playing defense again. And if they don't, it's going to rip to 5 pretty quick. But once it gets to 5, I anticipate a treasury buyback program, a flip the switch on quantitative tightening back to quantitative easing, and they're going to provide liquidity like they've never provided liquidity before. They're going to make COVID and helicopter money look like nothing compared to what they're going to need in order to keep this system together if they allow those rates to de-anchor. So for that reason, I don't think they're going to allow the rates to de-anchor, which means they have to print the money. And if they have to print the money, we're going to see more inflation. And if we have more inflation, you do not want to be in bonds because the yield is going to go more negative. You need to protect your purchasing power. And the best way to do that is with Bitcoin.
Yeah. So you're obviously a fantastic educator. So before we transition to education and all your efforts there, I want to let everybody know a little bit more about like when you think the People's Reserve is going to launch, how it will launch, and how they can find out more about it down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. So People's Reserve, we've been building stealth for 3 years. So it's been a long road, especially building it here in the United States. We'd probably be live already if we build it offshore, to be honest with you. But we're here for we the people. Our saying is People's Reserve, serving we the people. So the whole idea is that we want to be here in America where we have the Constitution, right? The only document in the world that says government is not the creator of rights and giver of rights. Right. This is where freedom, we are the city, the light on the shining hill. And this is who we want to service. And this is where we want to grow. And we believe this is the best country in the world and has the ability to continue to lead the world far into the future. So, we're patriots and we want to build here and we want to be part of this economy. And for that reason, we spent the extra time and money to do it here instead of offshore. And we should be ready by the first quarter of next year. So just in a couple of months, you're going to start hearing a lot more about People's Reserve because I'm actually muzzled right now. As the founder of People's Reserve, I contractually sold my intellectual property to the company. The company put me under NDA in order to maintain our first market mover advantage because we're not just working on Bitcoin bonds. There's multiple financial products that the marketplace has never before seen that we're going to be offering. One of them is a self-repaying mortgage. So if you're worried about mortgage rates right now being too high, but you also have been a responsible saver in Bitcoin, we're going to be able to help you out. We're going to recognize Bitcoin as the most pristine form of collateral in the world. And when you post that as collateral to your mortgage, we're going to lower your interest rate. Bitcoiners are going to get access to the lowest interest rates in the world because as a lender, People's Reserve is going to have the lowest risk. So it's not just about the supply and demand of money. It's an element of risk. And Bitcoin limits that risk. And when you limit our risk, we can lower your interest rate. So Bitcoiners are going to be empowered by the system that we've built in order to take advantage of these different financial tools. And that starts as early as the first quarter of next year. I couldn't be more excited, especially after awesome. 3 years of having duct tape kept over me.
I'm excited to see this stuff when you launch it. I've always felt that way. I've always felt like, man, we have the best collateral in the world and you want to charge me 12, 14%. Like, yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
just
crazy.
keep stacking. But this could be a great way. This is like a great transitioning tool to drive Bitcoin deeper into the economy and give people more use cases than just store of value. And it's going to impact people positively, even if they haven't been stacking Bitcoin, because it's creating a whole new economic environment, a whole new economic system that is pro-humanity. And so where you'll be rewarded for doing the right thing. You become a saver, it's going to benefit you in a huge way. So
That's right.
I'm excited for what you're building, man. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So
Appreciate
cool.
that. Yeah, so
So
so actually that kind of goes into education, because
yes, yeah, exactly.
one of my favorite things to teach is that I ask people, have you been taught to save? Well, yeah, of course, it's responsible to save. Okay, well, who are the biggest borrowers in the world? Banks and governments. They're the biggest borrowers in the world. When you deposit your money at a bank, if you read the fine print, the reason they're paying you interest is because you're lending them your money. So the banks are borrowing your deposits. Who's the other biggest borrower by far? The government, right? So a lot of times they say lower interest rates will cause inflation because banks will extend credit. Excuse me. Personal credit is around $1 trillion. The government is $36 trillion in debt with 219 trillion of unfunded liabilities. You want to talk about we the people, 1 trillion when you have 300 times more than that? No. See, the governments and the banks are the borrowers, and we the people are the lenders. And they have flipped the script upside down. They have manipulated the system so that the borrowers are empowered and that the lenders are penalized. Well, Bitcoin flips that script back and makes the lenders, the responsible lenders, actually the beneficiary of the financial system rather than the borrowers. And that is kind of what Michael Saylor is exploiting at MicroStrategy. It makes sense to borrow them. Yeah, yes. Bitcoin's got 50%
I haven't
CAGR.
heard it explained that way, but that's brilliant. I love that because it just clarifies things in a very precise and quick way. That's really cool.
Right. You asked the question, well, why is it like this? Well, because they've manipulated the system to benefit them and extract value from you. And that's what People's Reserve is sick and tired of. Our whole team is dedicated to delivering value instead of extracting value. This fiat mindset of value extraction is what motivates us and drives us, not only in my companies, but also in my educational community, Christian Investment Analysis, where people can come and join and they can shadow my portfolios. I think our cost adjusted basis on MicroStrategy is like $4 a share. Our NVIDIA and AMD entry points are ridiculously low. We're not traders. We're long-term investors. We're savers. We're responsible lenders. And that's my mindset. And if you agree with it, fantastic. Come join us and share in our success. If you don't agree with it, best of luck to you and good luck creating your own strategy, right? Because that's what I try to teach people is learn from me, but build on top of my shoulders. Create your own strategy, just like I've built on top of other people's shoulders. That's how humanity works and moves forward. And that's what we stand for at Christian Investment Analysis, a great community of people who just want to have success, but maybe don't have the time and the energy to invest the way you and I do. Like I said, we went to the bottom of the rabbit hole. We planted some TNT. We blew it up. We went deeper. We set up some couches, some TVs. We set up some books for you to come get comfortable and learn at the bottom of that rabbit hole. But most people, they can't swallow that pill and they don't have the time and energy to do it in an organized way. And I think education is key. Education is critical, not only for the person, but from the People's Reserve aspect, from the corporate side too. Because like you said, it's not just about empowering the individual, which it definitely is about. That's number one priority. Let's empower the individual. But once you start empowering these businesses, a tertiary effect of that is that you're actually empowering the individual as well, because you're optimizing the business too. So we get it from the personal side with Christian Investment Analysis. We get it from the company corporate side with People's Reserve. And the good news is a lot of people are interested. When I first started, people would laugh at me. Like I told you, my family would told me, go away. We don't want to hear about it anymore. But now, I mean, we get calls, we get it's really, people are really waking up. People are really waking up and starting to.
So how do they interact with your educational network? How do people interact with you?
Yeah, so I have a lot of content that I post in my community. So you can log in, you can read my market analysis, all of my previous reports and stuff like that. Some of them I've even made public. And then you can have a call with me and you can shadow my portfolios. So that's pretty much where it's. I think most people take advantage of the calls. You know, hop on a call with me for 30 minutes to an hour, and you can do that once per quarter. And I will answer any questions you have and address any concerns you have and try to teach you and educate you to the best of my ability so that you can feel confident in the investment that you're going to execute on, just to know that it makes sense, so you can sleep easy at night, so that you can focus on the kids, right? Focus on the soccer practices and the cheerleading. And I'm dealing it with right now. I got to go to volleyball matches and stuff. But that's what life is all about. Life is all about enjoying life and living it in a way that is abundant but also in a way that is a blessing to your neighbors and the people around you. And when you embrace that mindset, which is really the Bitcoin mindset, that's all
right.
of us in the Bitcoin community have embraced that mindset. And that's why we see this type of education going on. That's why you see Michael Saylor, who's a billionaire, spending hours and you see that video where he's like, right? Because it's the same thing over and over and over and over again. He's trying to educate these people. He's making billions of dollars, but he's giving the time and energy out of his life in order to help other people. That is the Bitcoiner mindset.
Yes.
And that's what drives and motivates us all, because it leads to a better, safer, more enjoyable standard of living and quality of life that the fiat system could never offer.
So you've heard Bitcoin is the new gold rush by now. As world leaders on all sides have endorsed it as the future of money, and now you're looking to get started, we'll show you how. It's actually easier than you think. First, go to your nearest Byte Federal ATM and turn your cash to coin. Byte Federal has over 1,200 locations around the country with the highest daily limits. Go to our website, bytefederal.com, to find the nearest ATM to you. Log in to any wallet, then create an account, deposit your US cash, and instantly convert it to Bitcoin. That's it. We are the only US manufacturer and operator in the Bitcoin ATM industry, and our US-based live customer service is second to none. Go on, give it a whirl, and don't get left behind. Click the link below.